I learned everything from my failure. That's why I'm still chasing my dream. Hi, I'm Takashi Hara. Thanks for coming back to my channel. So this week, I recently posted the new trailer for my YouTube channel. And then guess what? Thank you so much for everyone's support. I have reached first 100 subscribers on my channel. And then I really appreciate your support. And I think this is now good timing to make a new trailer explain about what is my background and what's my aim to make on this channel. I was talking about, because of course I'm an actor, filmmaker, and dreamer. But at the same time, I'm not talking only about the film, but also through my journey, I want to show and I want to share and what's the importance of philosophy behind, what's the background. It's not just about the filmmaking or acting. Of course, I'm happy to share that part of that side. Even today, I'm going to talk about a little bit of behind the scene of Echo 8. But the main thing is how important to your own success or achievement, fulfillment, because you live only once. And I'm happy to share about what I've been learning from my journey, from my 40 years experience. So that's the main aim of this YouTube channel. So today, this topic is very important because from last couple episodes, I've been talking about inferiority, interpersonal relationships, what is your own success, follow your instincts. And the last time, and I talk about the 12 kingdoms stuff and how importance of your decision is really matter. But at the same time, I realize a lot of people cannot take action to the next step. They might still be in their comfort zone or something. All the fears come from, and they're hard to break through. So something missing. Yes, I totally understand. And what is missing is, of course, the opposite word of the fear is actually courage. So today I'm going to talk about break down into two courage. Okay, two courage. And then I hope this topic will help you to something. I'm happy to discuss about the courage. And then that might help you to think about something you can go to the next step. Because I had to have a courage. Otherwise, if I didn't have a courage, I couldn't leave Japan. And I didn't become a filmmaker. And I couldn't make a second and a third film. And even Maria has a courage. If she didn't have it, she might stop making film on some point, but we didn't. There we keep going. But why? Because we actually courage to do it. But it doesn't mean we always think, yes, we can do it, but not all the time. Of course, we sometimes up and down, but we could go through. So the two courages, I think the one is the most important thing is the courage to fail. So I want to bring one of the topic from one of my favorite animation, Space Brothers. And the second thing is more interpersonal relationship courage. Now, this is actually completely related to the title of this book, the courage to be disliked. So let's get started. So before I start talking about the courage, okay, let's say how we say in Japanese courage. So in Japanese, we call yūki. That's in Japanese. So the yu means more like a brave, like strong. And ki, maybe Chinese in a way we say chi as well. So like energy or like breathe or like air. So in Japanese we call yūki. It's an energy to act bravely, even with fear. Right? And in my understanding of courage is, I guess, emotion in motion, because you're taking action. So that if you have a courage, actually, you have to take action. In my younger days in Japan, my acting coach, Kuni, he's always told me, what's the definition of acting? Because actor has to take action. Actors not standing in one position. Actors always take action. That's why we call actors. So it's not only about in the story. Okay, in the scene. Okay, what's the action of this character? Yes, that's the actor's role, actor's work in the script. But at the same time, who's the success actors? Everyone take action. in their life. Not only doing in front of the camera, but also they do something, take action outside of the screen in their life. That adds a value and something like a spirit and a soul, and we can show it in front of the camera. So again, emotion, so take action, that's the courage. And then we talk about two courages. One courage is courage to fail. So yes, I understand you have to step out the comfort zone. And one of the line from the Space Brothers, I watched a couple weeks ago on this episode. This is a story about the two Japanese brothers have a dream to become an astronaut, and at the end they both go to the moon. So that's the whole story. And one of the episode, the Mutta, he's the main character, he said, this is his line, 本気でやった失敗は価値がある. So if you give it your all, so do your best, even failure has value. So which means if you don't do your best, if failure doesn't give you anything. But if you do your best, give your all, give everything, commit to something, take action, and fail, but it's okay because you can find something from it. You can get a lot of feedbacks, right? Like astronaut. So he's talking in this episode, he's actually making some, what it's called, like a rocket competition. He and his teams built some, like a rover, like a mini, like a toy car thing, like a competition, and go to make a rocket and then land and move. It's like kind of like a space mission, but in a mini version. And then they have a lot of issues and failures, and sometimes they almost give up. But Mutta, he said that if you give it your all, if we do our best, we can get some good feedback. So always be positive. So even if failure, it's not a failure because that failure gives you a value. So in my story, for example, I actually, not only me, we did a lot of mistakes on original Echo 8. By the way, if you haven't watched original Echo 8, it's on this YouTube or Tubi or Amazon Prime, and you can watch free on the Tubi on the YouTube, and also it's on Apple TV. But anyhow, if you watch the original Echo 8, again, it's a super low budget film. We had only $5,000 not 5,000, no, sorry, almost like US dollars conversion could be around $8,000, but mostly for the lights, camera, and that's it. Almost like everyone volunteered, right? And then that was my first time I was co-directing with my wife, and also the lead actor. And we do acting, play the role, and manage producing, management, and shoot and edit at the same time, right? And we have a lot of actual issues. When you watch the movie, it's okay, but I mean, you can tell the quality is like still a lot of, how to say it in English, it's like a nobishiro in Japanese. It's more room to be improved, right? Like for example, like lighting stuff, we get a lot of issue. Well, actually, the Adam on our DOP get a lot of advice, but sometimes, as for example, okay, Maria wants to do like particular way, and we try to do shooting that way, and actually really hard to fix in post. For example, like first time shooting a Blackmagic raw footage, and then like a super low exposure, you cannot fix in the color grading and exposure. But like, that's a minor things, but it's all learning curve, right? But the whole this failure, it's okay. We try to fix somehow, but at least we release the Echo 8, because the most important is it's not about the quality, also the story, what kind of story, narrative, the message, the value of the film. So value of the Echo 8 is not just only about the story in the film, that the whole project, the community based, a lot of people that are accessible to the film industry, not from the studio film, but in a super low budget for the passion, that we can collaborate together, and then we can actually achieve something bigger. So that's the whole process. And then thanks for all the backers on Echo 8 Trilogy, we could start make 2 movies in a trilogy, like prequel and a sequel. And now this time we are super happy, because I also learned, because some people says, oh, that's not a director's job, or maybe DOP's job. That's not the director's job, that's a writer's job. Or that's not director's job, that's the actor's job, like stuff like that. There's so many things happen, right? But my opinion, what I learned from the last original Echo 8, if you want to become an independent filmmaker, a director, and then if you want to be the best, I guess my understanding is I have to understand every part of the filmmaking. Because if the studio film, the director is one working on on a one dimension. No, I don't say one dimension, like a bit limited. You don't edit, there's an editor. But as an independent filmmaker, you had to do everything. Like Robert Rodriguez, he did everything in the his first film, right? So even like, for example, Steven Spielberg, if I watched a couple of his behind the scene videos, he knows everything about the camera and lighting stuff and acting, of course. So I cannot be an expert on each department because I'm a director. But my understanding is at least I need to have a vision. Okay, performance-wise, what kind of acting I want to know. Okay, we got a lot of issues and failure of the, okay, for example, lighting on the first Echo 8, or maybe sound design or audio things, right? I'll be on set. Of course, I'm acting, but also directing. So, of course, I'm not the expert of lighting, but I have to learn at the same time because that's my film, right? And then not only taking charge, but also I have to understand at least the vision. What kind of view show on the screen? What kind of picture you want to show? Like, for example, Akira Kurosawa, the legendary Japanese director, he does all the writing stuff too. But not only that, he's actually an amazing painter, like a fine artist. So if you get a chance to see his storyboard on his film, he's like a fine art. You can put his storyboard in the any art museum, because it's a masterpiece of each shot, because he already got a vision. So that's actually was my learning curve, and I studied. And then after the first Echo 8, we shoot in 2019 to 2020. And then we shoot the second one, Echo 8 Trilogy, we shoot in 2025, which means 4 or 5 years later. So I've been learned all this stuff in between. We worked on 4 or 5 short films. I completely improved the lighting. I started learning how to use the camera. I started learning I never learned about the lens. That was actually very bad, but it's okay. Honestly, I'm still a new filmmaker, but I enjoy it. And then since I started learning the lens, oh, this is a Micro Four Thirds lens, and this is a cinema lens, and how close, how wide, blur background, what's the exposure and lighting, and how's the different, and what's kind of tone and mood, texture you want to put in a scene. It's about a comedy moment, or a really serious moment, horror moment, or action, more like crispy action moment. You want to do like a John Wick style, anything. So I took action. I didn't want to be in my comfort zone. But also, even if I learn, it could be a fail for the next one. But it's okay, because I'm believing, if I take action learning is a failure, it's never fail. Because that failure, I can learn and get some feedback from it. Then I can keep taking emotionally in emotion. So that's the thing. So that's the first topic of courage to fail. Step outside of the comfort zone. So now, the second one. So now you solve your own issues. You can do whatever you want. You have a courage to step out of your zone. But in this life, it's all about interpersonal relationship, which is this book says the courage to be disliked. Because all these mentally or something, depression or trauma or everything come from the interpersonal relationship. So that's why the title of this book is The Courage to be Disliked. So I would say the courage to connect. So the next topic is the courage about interpersonal relationship, right? And I've been telling from the last couple of episodes on this book says, they always said separate your task. You have your own task. If someone has some problem with you, but actually that's not your problem, that's actually their problem. They have their own task to be solved. So you don't have to engage the task. And it's about affirmative resignation, which means positively give up to control or change this person, but just you focus on yourself. And then you can, how you work on your task. And if you've been centered, all these interpersonal relations is getting fade out. So that's the main thing. And then I would say one of the scene, the 12 Kingdoms, that's my favorite animation. And one of the last scene of the Yoko, the main high school lady girl, she became a queen of the new kingdom. And then what she said, please, she told one of the message to her citizens. Okay, so what's the concept? What's the new value concept of her land? She said she wanted everyone needs to be your own king. That's her message. Everyone become your own king or queen. So if you feel you're not king or queen on yourself, it's not about arrogance. It's not about your ego. But you be centered. Because if you're not centered, if you're not king to be yourself, which means when you see with someone, you always think I'm higher than him or lower than him. It's higher than him. It's actually called the ego. Lower than him. It's called inferiority, which is both doesn't work. But if you centered, and then once you centered, and then you have a relationship with someone with equal, in this book, it says horizontal relationship. Horizontal relationship. If you have a horizontal relationship, A to B, A is a king of yourself, and a B, king of himself. When you see each other, now bow together naturally and respect each other. I think that's the most beautiful moment as a human being, because nowadays it's all about competition. Look at the acting industry. Someone can get the big role. I didn't get the big role. Someone get a success in the business. I didn't get success in my business. Always someone's success means someone lose. If someone success, someone lose. And someone lose causes inferiority. Even someone's success, he sees that some other people, they always compare. He got other actor get more roles. I didn't get only 1 role, 2 roles this year. So it's all about competition, but it's totally not. It's about the meaning, what kind of job, what kind of gig you add value through your performance to the world. If the 2 people see each other and then one of each then be a king of themselves, to what Yoko says, the ruler to be own your own body and soul, right? So I can manage on my own soul, I can manage on my own body, and I respect my own body and soul. If you be centered, if you see someone, there's no competition already. Because if you see someone, he's another person, another beautiful spirit, and the Yoko is also saying in this anime, when you see someone fully respectful, you don't have to be a rule or anything. Like, for example, in a Japanese custom, you don't have to be, oh, konnichiwa. You don't have to bow. Because if you see someone, for example, in Japan, if you feel, oh, it's a really respectful person, I feel like humans naturally, it's not trying to, humans naturally bow. Maybe Western culture, we don't bow in a Western culture, I totally understand, but at least you feel something, give a warm or something warmer energy. It could be a different way. The bow is a Japanese or Asian style, but you don't have to follow the Asian style. It's in a Western country. Of course, I live in a Western country. But you might feel something different. Maybe shake hands or, hey, what's up, man? Maybe more friendly, get casual way, but that's totally fine. But you feel something. It's not about competition. You fight against this person, but actually you make a harmony and a respect. In Japanese way, maybe bow. Naturally. So that's the beauty of the courage to connect. Okay, so the today's topic, so I got to talk about 2 courages to something moving step forward. The first one is the courage to fail. So courage to fail, you don't have to worry. When you take action, you fail. I learned a lot from Echo 8, but we still keep going. And we made up at least our own success. And the second thing is more about interpersonal relationship, the courage to be disliked. On the book says, but I would say for today is maybe courage to connect. So the courage to connect, how you can achieve. You can be your own king. You can be your own queen. And you centered with your soul and spirit. When you see someone, there's no competition. And then you respect someone and then naturally make a harmony with someone. If we achieve everyone, I know it's more about Takashi, you're talking about fantasy, or Takashi, you're talking about the dream. And you see the news articles in Era, there's so many crazy things happening. I'm not talking about politics in this video, but so many sad news I watch every day. But what we can achieve is if we always find a goal to something, and you can start changing from your own circle. You know what? You don't have to change the world. We don't have to change the world. We live in the world. The world might not change, but like for example, the second courage, we can change ourselves. I can be my own king. Again, it's not about ego. You can be your own queen. And then we see each other, we respect each other as a life. It's a horizontal relationship. even if you do nothing, or if your existence, your life, and then your spirit is beautiful enough already. And if people start seeing in that way, I think that all the troubles or the conflicts as human beings getting dissolved. Yeah, I believe. All right, so thank you so much. That's my episode today. Please leave any comments. I'm happy to more discuss about this topic, and then please let me know if any topic you wanted me to talk about. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next episode. Bye.